Hello friends! We are jumping right into this week. I have two cakes to make. I have one for my nephew and one for my niece. So I did make them Monday, and this is a few days later after I froze them and stacked them. This is actually 4 cakes tall. They're all vanilla with a hint of root beer. I chose to make some different kind of vanilla cakes as just to kind of make it different and not all plain. It has green icing as you saw in the first clip. And I am going for a woodsy kind of theme. He really enjoys the outdoors, and yeah, so his mom wanted me to make a cake. She sent me a couple images, and they were of trees and that kind of stuff. So this is actually going to be a birch cake. I gave the boys some extra marshmallow fondant, and so they're playing with it and having lots of fun. It's basically like edible Play-Doh, except far too much sugar that they had that day. But yeah, it was kind of a learning experience making this birch cake, as I'd never hand painted anything before and had worked at like sculpting and scratching and just kind of painting with food coloring. It was pretty cool. I got my husband to take a look and see like how I could change things and kind of make it more realistic. I had also watched a tutorial on YouTube just kind of to get an idea, and I think it was good. The process was fun. Yeah, I had mentioned earlier that they were vanilla cakes, and I wanted to make them a little different, so I added root beer. I had seen some recipes online that you could add just a cake mix and have some of the ingredients, but just add part of a can of pop and kind of have that flavor in there. So when I brought it to the party, I had mentioned, okay, try and guess the pop flavor, and he had actually got it within like the first couple minutes. So that was awesome. I'm glad it turned out good. So here's the close up of the fondant. Luckily, it didn't have to be too perfect, and there's actually some um, holes here and there that I patched up and just kind of painted. I had to buy black food coloring to fill in some of the other pieces, as I had used some up previously on actually a Spider-Man birthday cake, making all those spiders. But um, a bit ago, you saw some like vertical lines, which I did fix later, and it looks way better. And just kind of patched it and figured it all out. Yes, those lines right there. My husband had let me know there are no vertical lines on birch trees. So I fixed it. Fixed it later. Then I just start to add some coloring, some brown here and there. I do use golden yellow on the top, but I do kind of mute it down later. It is pretty bright right now, but it does get better. And this is my first like tree, like realistic cake kind of thing. So I don't I don't give myself too much trouble because it is my first time. Like I am just a self-taught cake maker, baker, cake decorator, I guess. I try to give myself some grace and patience as I am self-taught. Like I have never taken any courses or anything like that. Just looked up a few things on YouTube and how they look and how I can like replicate or like duplicate them. So I do give myself a little grace just because this is my first time making anything realistic, kind of anything real. So I think it turned out pretty good, and we will go over the kind of final result pictures. With the green fondant, I did make a few leaves and a 1 and a 6, as my nephew was turning 16 this year. And you see there, Jack had also made me some leaves too. They later got squished, so I couldn't get them on the cake. But he had lots of fun. He made a plan out for these leaves and what they look like and how he could make them and the shape. And he would need these kind of tools to like make the pokes or the little veins and the lines in them. So I was really impressed that he had made such a good plan for just making anything simple as like leaves or whatever. So let's hurry this along and let's look at some pictures. Now this is cake number 2, and the pictures that my sister-in-law had sent me were actually more like princess cake. So they had like a couple tiers and pink and frilly and ruffles and all this kind of stuff, and like pink and double pink and then like gold and like little accents like that. So I took some inspiration from a few of the pictures that she had sent me and kind of made it my own. Right now I'm just kind of adding the lines into the bottom tier so that it's kind of like a quilted kind of pattern look. Mine did turn out a little more spiral geometric, and I thought that was really cool, so it didn't have to be completely perfect. I look pretty cool being spiral there and just kind of leaving a little offset circle up at the top for the top tier, and there kind of spirals all the way up. I do clean up the bottom later. So this cake was lots of fun to make. I made 2 tiers there. So there's one chocolate cake, and then I made a banana bread cake, which is one of her favorites. She's always having the bear paw banana bread ones. So then I'm just covering the cake with pink icing. I do cover it all up, and then I kind of swirl it later on to make the top kind of different. The tiers were really easy to stack as I made those little sprinkles, jewels on there, and it lined up pretty perfectly. There's a couple that were hidden, but it turned out really well. I made the white chocolate molds of the tiara. I just kind of laid it across a peanut butter jar, laid flat, so that it would do like a curved kind of brim to make the tiara. I did do a few kind of trial and error ones to see what would work best, and the white chocolate kind of looked yellow compared to the white fondant, so I did color it with like more of a gold sprinkle, so it looked a lot better, not like off-white and like sad, but it took a little bit to figure out what worked best, but I went with the original one, which turned out really well. And then I'm just filling in a couple of the areas that were kind of thin that you could see through and see the chocolate cake there. But yeah, and then I do some piping and kind of get it all prettied up, and yeah. This was after the boys did go to bed, and I think it was like 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night. So it was nice just to kind of have some time to myself and finish the cake, get it all ready, and I think it turned out good. They were really happy with this, and actually my mother-in-law had requested that this be the inside of her cake as well. She's like, it doesn't have to be princess themed, but she would really love the chocolate and the banana bread cake for hers, which is in February. So it'll take a little while to plan that out and get it all ready. You saw earlier the fondant there, that was for the birch cake that I did put on that you saw. And this is just figuring out the crown. This was the colored pink white chocolate, and I used a different later, and like I redecorated the cake as you'll see in some of the pictures, but I just wanted to include just the process of this one because I feel like I did the most changes to these cakes after filming, which isn't what I normally do, so it's kind of different. So I added more onto this cake, but then near the end, closer to the party, I changed it and just kind of added less, and I think it looked a lot better. So yeah, just the process of making cakes and seeing what looks better and like not being so cluttered. So that's how it went. And this is a beautiful white chocolate mold, the first one I made that actually put on the cake. It was all painted gold here and just had the 2 on the top layer here.
happens if Dad touches the cake?
Then he gets in trouble.
Then you must prick his finger and smack his butt.
Yes.
When will you be done?
I don't know. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next week. Bye.